Welcome to another sit down about personal finance.
Let's get it.
So today we have an interesting video. We're going to be talking about the goals that you should have financially in your 20s. So if you're new to this channel, welcome, subscribe. If you're not, you know me, I'm the host. And like you can see this person here that looks very similar. He's my brother. He's actually the person that got me originally into personal finance. And I will dare to say that therefore Barney. Alfredo's a little older. He's 28. I'm 23. So yeah, we'll be commenting the 5 goals that you should have financially, and Alfredo will probably add something considering he's 5 years older and therefore wealthier, right?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay, so the first one I think you should do when you kind of start adulting is you should get out of debt, but you should get out of the short-term debt. What I mean by that is if you have the normal debts, which are college, or you have like a car, like a down payment, you don't have to pay those right away.
Personal loans, credit cards.
But if you have like a personal loan or a credit card, those that kind of get accrue interest very fast, those should be the first one that you should target before anything else. What do you think?
I'm more from the school of don't have any debt, you know, other than probably home because it's an appreciating asset.
Right.
But yes, I agree with you. You start with the smaller one, or you start with the one with the higher interest, because normally credit card should be easier and faster to pay down because it should be smaller. That of course, loan from school that can be in the 100,000.
So first one is paying down credit cards. We agree on that one. The second one is building a rainy day fund, and specifically, I will say that it's a 3-month rainy day fund.
3 to 6, depending on your situation.
What? Oh, like 36 months?
3 to 6 months, yes, or 3 or 6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, 3 to 6 months. Exactly.
Depending on your situation.
I'd say starting, you should have a 3-month. Personally, I actually did this when I started, and then I was unemployed for 6 months, and that's when I was able to use my rainy day fund. So we'll do another video where we talk extensively about rainy day fund.
But just to add, it depends on your situation. If you're in a very stable job, if you live with your parents or whatever it is, you can cut it down to 3.
Right.
Even 2, depending on your situation. But if you are, if you sustain a family, for example, there's young people with kids, you better go for the 6 months to be safer.
Okay, so let's say you start with 3 and then maybe down the road you kind of build it to 6 months. What is rainy day? Rainy day are all your fixed costs. So if you found yourself unemployed, like I found myself, you can cut down in going out and eating out, but you can't cut down in rent, insurance, car payments, and all that stuff. So that's what a rainy day fund covers. The next one is maximize your 401k. And the reason why I say that is because 401k, like you guys know, has a free money component to it that you have to use at the time. So I think the next financial goal should be maximizing your 401k.
But more than that, because you're going to have that forever. It's not, and we're talking about the 20s. The advantage of doing that in your 20s is that your money in your 20s, it's way more important than the money you're going to get in your 30s, 40s, etc. Because you're going to have more time to compound, and therefore it's more like valued, if that makes sense. Because whatever you save now, it's going to accrue a lot more. It's going to have more time to grow and, of course, generate more money.
And both Barney and myself have done explanations of that where we sit down and we share the screen and we do a calculator and you can see the difference of starting in your 20s. Before I give you the next one, do you think I've missed one that you should do? You think I've missed a priority before all the ones that I've mentioned?
In terms of goals, no, I think that's good.
Those are the ones? Okay. The next one is once you maximize your 401k, very similar, but different is that it doesn't have a matching. You should maximize your Roth IRA or your traditional IRA if you're older, but in this case, you're in your 20s, so you should be Roth, which is only $6,000, maybe $6,500 next year. So that should be your next goal. What do you think about that?
I think yes. I mean, ideally, yes. It depends on who your viewer is, right? Because if you're making whatever, if you're in the 40,000, if you're making 40,000 a year, maybe it's not as easy to maximize Roth, maximize 401k. And I think, let me go back for a minute. Maybe it's not maximize 401k, it's maximize so you get your match.
Right.
Do your IRA, Roth IRA, and if you still have money, if you can be, intentional and save more money, you maximize your 401k too, right?
It's all like I would consider like a ladder, but it's like goals. So it's like once you do this one, then you can move to the next one. Obviously, at the same time, you kind of want to start, if you know you can accomplish up to maximizing your Roth, which I've done since I started working, you probably did. Yeah. There are things that you can do every month.
So, but my thing is, for me, and this is my personal take, 401k, you don't have all the full control of it because it's on the company. Normally it's reduced or restricted to the amount of funds or type of funds you can have. So I would do maximize your 401k to the max match that you're going to have. Let's say it's 3%, 6%. You do that. you maximize Roth, you come back to 401k.
Okay. So all the ones that we mentioned so far have been very conservative. I would even say that it doesn't even depend on your risk. This is everything I've mentioned so far. I think it applies for everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe you allocate a little different between one or the other, but risk is not a factor here. However, once you maximize your Roth IRA, if you still have money, which hopefully you do, here's where it gets a little more tricky. The next one, and I will say this is kind of the last one, is, you're starting to make money, so you start kind of investing, you start planning ahead. For example, I had a friend the other day that mentioned me that she had, I think it was like $70,000 in her bank account, which is great. Wow. But that's when you start considering risk. She already maximized her 401k, her IRA, and everything. The next question is maybe real estate, maybe more investments. That's where risk comes into play. So for my risk profile, and then this is actually my new financial goal, which I mentioned to you, is keep investing until I have an SPY lot. An SPY lot means that I have 100 shares of SPY, which at this current price, it's this, which is probably around like $33,000.
For like, there's like 40k? Around that.
We'll put it there. But yeah, so that's my goal. And the reason for that is because once you have a lot, which is 100 shares, you can start doing options, so cover calls and all those things that can kind of generate more money.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, as you said, it depends on your preference, right? Like, I really like real estate. If I had 70k, I would definitely go into real estate. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily Miami where we're at. I mean, maybe, yes, I don't know. I would think about it. But yes, I would definitely pay down all debt. I'm assuming this girl has no debt.
Right.
And I would go into real estate. If not, I will go into something somewhat conservative within stocks. I will go into stocks.
Right.
And if I have that type of money, I always, I would take a percentage, I don't know, 5%, 10%, to be a little more aggressive. Either you're getting, if this person, let's say they know about finance, they have the certification, I would get into venture capital, for example, angel investing, something a lot more riskier, but you're gonna have, you're young. So if you lose, let's say you use 10% of that $7,000, you lose $7,000 when you're in your 20s. It's not the end of the world,
right? And I will say a great way of measuring that, and even thinking about what to invest on, is just set kind of like a number that you want to accomplish every year. So for example, when I started working my first year, my goal was 10K. It wasn't a matter that I wanted to have 10K. It was a matter that I wanted to kind of like work towards something. Yeah. And I accomplished it, between my bonus, between my 401k and everything, I accomplished that. I think the next year's was 15K, and then, I want to keep it.
Yeah, moving. And something important for me is that you always not only talk about dollars, talk about percentages. Because if you're making $40,000, 10K is 25% of your pay.
Right.
If you do, I don't know, if you save 8K, good, that's 20% of your pay. So maybe, maybe that person percentage-wise is doing better than you. Maybe, let's say you're making 100K a year, that's only 10%. Mm-hmm. That makes sense?
Right.
So think about percentages more than thinking about dollars, and make sure that you're saving, you're hitting your Roth goal, your 401k goal, but you're always thinking about high percentages of saving.
Right. And then the last question, so this video was focused on the 20s. What is your goal by 30, your next financial goal?
I think by 30, and I was listening the other day about a podcast about this, and they were saying that 30s are hard because in the 30s you normally have more responsibilities because you're settling down. Either you got married or you're about to get married, you're about to have kids, mm-hmm. You're paying a home normally. So you're starting to get, that. So for me, I want to enter my 30s like very stable, not stable, like with a good foundation financially, retirement, good rainy day fund, and I want to have the savings. If I haven't already paid for a house, I want to start building up that savings for a home. And in my 30s, I personally, because I want to get to retirement earlier than 65.
Right.
I want to have a home that it's paid at least, 25%. Like, if I'm doing bad, 25%, I want to be up in the 40s or 50% of the home paid off. Because, mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about, that, we have that long term. But if you start feeling that you already paid part of the home and you're comfortable, it's a risk thing later on.
Right. When Alfredo turns 30, we'll do another episode about the goals financially for your 30s. Subscribe. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.